everyone, welcome to my Flosstube channel, Thread the Needle. My name is Vani and I'm here in Newfoundland, Canada. And if you're joining me for the first time, welcome. This is my Flosstube channel where I talk about everything full coverage cross stitch. And if you're joining me and coming back, welcome back. So I have been slow to come back to stitching over the last few weeks. But I'm happy to say that I finally have my stitching bug back. It was a long time coming. One, because, life got in the way and timing just sucked, and I was sick for a little while, and then I was traveling for a little while. So everything combined all happened at once. But I'm back and I've got a little bit of stitching to share with you, and I couldn't be happier. So while I still have not gotten to pick up my focus piece for the year, which is my anniversary piece that I'm working on for my husband and I's anniversary, which we just celebrated last week, 23 years. My plan is to give him a commissioned piece of a picture of us together for our 25th anniversary. So I've got a couple of years to go. And I'm going to need every last second to finish that piece. And so I just in the last few days kind of got back into the groove of stitching. So I haven't really picked that one up yet. But tonight I think will be the first night and I'll get going on that again. The way that I do my stitching is that I work on my focus piece for a few, I think 200 stitches a night. And then I move on through my rotation. So in my rotation, I have all of my works in progresses, small, medium, and large. And I have an app on my phone that, excuse me, that picks it for me. So I don't have to choose, because that's a lot of the problem when it comes to my projects. There's just too many nice ones. I love all of them and I hate having to pick. So it's great when the app picks for me. And I just get to enjoy that piece for, I like to stitch on each piece in the rotation until I get around 400 stitches on average, because I feel that when you get to that, especially the style that I stitch, I often, as you can see, I stitch on the diagonal. As you can see in a lot of my pieces, I stitch on the diagonal, and I feel like 400 stitches, kind of really, you can see the progress, because I'm still stitching kind of cross country, but within the diagonal of a 10 stitch span, and sometimes 20 stitch. So I feel like when I reach that goal of 400 per project in my rotation, I can actually visibly see some progress, and that makes me feel better before moving on to the next project. And that's pretty much how I go through my pieces. That way I'm sure that every piece gets worked on within a rotation, and it's been working so far. And also this year, as a recap, I have been trying to keep track of how much time I actually spend stitching on a piece, because I really don't know. Everyone always asks me, oh, how long did it take you to stitch that? Couldn't tell you, honestly. Because I have so many in rotation, I'm never stitching on I've never been a monogamous stitcher. I've always had multiple pieces on the go. And I never really kept track of how long it was, but I thought it would be, excuse me, as you can see, I still have a little bit of a tickle in my throat. So I thought it would be nice to see if I could track this year how long it takes me to stitch on a particular piece. Now, each piece is going to be different. Depending on how much confetti there is in it, depending on the count of the fabric, because I'm just more comfortable stitching on certain counts than I would be in others, like a 28 count, which I do not have on display. That would take me a little bit longer than, say, my favorite count, which is 18 count, which is, oh yeah, that one's an 18 count. And I think my the Sapphire, the Birthstone series, is 18 count, and this is 22. This is also 18, and this one is 22, and this one is 25 count. So it depends on the count, my speed, the count, the amount of confetti. but I figured if I could at least get an average, when I'm next showing someone a finished piece and they say, how long did that take you? I can at least average it out. Even though I've already stitched some of it, once the piece is finished, I should have kind of like a time average of how long it takes me to stitch, let's say 100 pieces in an hour. I can get this many stitches done. So then I can calculate based on how many stitches were in a project, how long it approximately took me to stitch that. So that's what I've been doing so far this year, and I tried to get back into doing it when I picked up my stitching after my trip and my bout of illness. Sometimes I remember to turn the app on and keep track of my stitching time. Sometimes I didn't. So these are average times this time, okay? So let's start. Let's see. Okay, the first piece up is QS Life as an Open Book, London. And I think this one, I'm still trying to fill in a certain area. So this is stitched on 22 count and full cross, 2/1 full cross. So I think if you look at the picture, this is the area that got most filled in. And it's filling in nicely. All the little confetti stitches that were left over here are done now. And we're finally getting into, I think, this is another building coming up here. So it's filling out nicely. I'm really having fun with this piece. And it's always a joy. And it always brings back memories of our trip to London. I always talk about my trip to London because it was just so much fun. So yeah, so that is my London piece. It's working out okay. I like it. And the stats on that, let me just see. So this round I got 428 stitches done, which makes this 31% complete. And this last bit of stitching took me about 3 hours to do. All in all, not bad. Next up is Enchanted Garden. And one of my all-time favorites. It's just so pretty. I got a nice bit done. As you can see, we're still working on filling in the bottom of the, because everything from here up is done. So now we're just focusing on filling in this part. And as you can see, this round I filled in the brown sections here. That's the colors that kind of showed up. And the stats on this, I stitched about 389 stitches, and that takes me to about 82% complete. And this took me in my last sitting 2 hours and 45 minutes. Not bad, not bad. I'm almost positive this is going to be a a finish this year. I said that last year, didn't happen. So let's hope I'm right this year. Then next up, we have Ayana. Oh, this is stitched. This is stitched on 18 count. Yeah. Okay, next we have Ayana, and that's being stitched on 22 count. And I think we're finally getting into some interesting stuff here. We've got, okay, so we are working on this diagonal right here. So this time I was kind of focused on filling in all this stuff and all the confetti that's in here. But you can see this is her, the kind of scarf that she wears on her head from her sari or whatever it is that she's wearing. It's just so beautiful. I actually got to work on some reds. I don't know if you can pick up the color there. Some really nice reds. It's going to be so much fun when we fill it in here. But as you can see a little bit from the confetti that's coming up here. Kind of a shape of what's coming up. So the stats on her. I got just about 263 stitches in. Which brings me to a whopping 8% complete on this project. And this took me about 2 hours to get done. So it has been slow going, but I am really happy to say that I have picked up my needle again and put in some stitches. I look forward to stitching some more. in the coming days and weeks. So I think in my next update, I should have more to show you. In the meantime, as a review, we can just go over what's here. This is one of my favorite pieces. This is Ganesha. Let me just double check. All of these pieces are Heaven and Earth designs. This is Ganesh. This is the World Travel Bookshelf. This is, what is this one called? I always forget. I just call it my dancing piece. Mini Opening Night. This is Owl Trio, Autumn Owl Trio. And this one is the QS Sapphire. I'm doing the full birthstone set. This is the 4th birthstone that I'm working on. And that one over there on the end is Moose Crossing. Yes, Mini Moose Crossing. And that one I love especially because the details in it are tremendous. Like, look at the trees and I just feel like it's very dimensional, even though it's a stitched piece. I really, really like this one. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to make it back over there. Okay, so those are some of my pieces. I've got in total quite a few in my rotation, and I'm always adding more. So at the moment, we're sitting at 21 pieces in my rotation, which I don't mind. I just love all of them so much. It's just a joy to stitch on them. And sometimes, I wonder why I wasn't in the mood to stitch. Or, well, one, obviously I didn't have the energy after being sick, and then I didn't stitch at all while we were traveling. But then, I took a moment to sit down and read through the comments of the past videos that I hadn't responded to yet. And that really brought joy to my face and to me. And it was just so nice to read the comments, and everyone was wishing me well, and which was so sweet to see and hear that, they were all the comments were so lovely, and it just made me feel really happy. And I really wanted to be able to stitch more so that I could share more so that you could watch. Yeah, it's been great. So that's what I've got on the books now. I've already picked my rotation piece for tonight. And I still have one more thing planned on my plate that I haven't been able to do yet, is to get back to my Stitch With Me videos. They are still in the works. I still want to do it. Because the piece that I'm doing with my Stitch With Me videos is Mini Forget-Me-Not. Is that the right way? Oh, this way. Mini Forget-Me-Not. So I still want to get back into doing this. So, because that's just going to be a beautiful piece. So that's my plan for the rest of this period. Thank you so much for being patient with me. And know that I still love stitching a lot. And I apologize for being away for so long, but know that I'm back. And you know what makes me happy and kind of really put me in the mood was, of course, reading all your comments and seeing how happy it made you, as well as watching other people's floss tubes. That really gets you in the mood to stitch, So I've been catching up on a lot of Flosstube channels, and it really, that makes me happy, and it makes me want to stitch. So I hope this video made you want to stitch, possibly on a full coverage if you've never done a full coverage before. And if you haven't, you should check out my how-to video for beginners. It's a lot of fun. I love full coverage. Can you tell? Bye, everyone.